Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. The trade deadline has passed. We check in on the Rams' moves. Plus, is Week 10 too early to start talking about playoffs? Absolutely not. And later, the Rams under the SoFi lights for Monday Night Football. We preview Dolphins at Rams. Let's rock.
This is Rams Showcase with your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome into it, Rams Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Bags at Rams Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. That's where you can follow along on social media. I also realized, by the way, it was yesterday. I record on Wednesdays typically, unless we're Thursday Night Football. As I was typing up all my notes and stuff, I was like, yo, I have totally blown off my live streams. I don't know what happened. All right, so we'll get back to that maybe this following week. I actually do have a procedure that I'm doing this upcoming Monday, so I'll be able to watch the game and pay attention and all that stuff, but it might be a little bit chaotic in that world. So that's where we're at right now as far as the scheduling goes. So that is actually, like I said, it's just fully my bad because I definitely just was not paying enough attention. And I was just taking notes and it was like, when am I supposed to do my live stream? And it was like, oh, it's usually today. So we'll get back on that though. I do love the interaction, having Edwin with emphasis on the win. Hop on. Tuna's been hopping on a few times as well. That's absolutely awesome. Tuna's a cool dude, man. So if you haven't checked out his channel, be sure to do it. Also, if you are only hearing me, there is a video version of this podcast. It is available on YouTube as well as Facebook. That does drop the following day. So Thursday morning, typically, as I get the audio version out and then edit the video version. So check that out there. If you are watching me, and you would like this in audio form only, Ram Showcase is available everywhere you're listening to podcasts. Also, if you're on ramblinfan.com, you click on that podcast tab on the top. That also takes you to the Ram Showcase podcast via Spotify. So we did have the trade deadline that passed this week, just on the 5th. So I know that on the 5th, we were all very intense. We were all, holding on to our seats. A lot of us, a lot of big decisions to be made as we waited for the NFL trade deadline and nothing else important. So obviously the Rams did not hit it hard. They did let us know ahead of time that the Rams would not be making any additions, that the Rams weren't planning on being active in at the trade deadline. And fans did not love this, but I got to be honest, it makes perfect sense to me that the Rams were not active in this setting right now. We have a very young team who is still developing and hitting a stride a little bit. So I think that I felt going into the trade deadline, because we had trade conversations, even here on Ram Showcase a few weeks back, but then I kind of let it be known of hey, there's 3-4 football games to play until we reach the trade deadline. So maybe we got to see how a few of these games go. Turns out Rams start stacking some dubs and we hit the trade deadline with not a lot of needs. And I say that in the sense of not saying that we can't improve at different positions. We have Matthew Stafford, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. We could improve at that position. Kyren Williams is playing like one of the two best running backs in the league, if not the. And maybe, if you do consider him number two, we could improve at that spot. The only spot on the entire Rams roster that I would say we probably can't get better at is the combination of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. The way that those guys run routes, we don't see that in a lot of guys around the league. And so much so, we see it here that even Demarcus Robinson on his touchdown catch in the red zone this last week, that was against Minnesota, that red zone catch, absolutely filthy move off the line. No, that was against Seattle. I'm sorry. I'm mixing up games now. I'm getting all confused in here. It was against Seattle because it was against Tariq Woolen. So to put that move on him, man, it was that's a Kupp move. That's him watching Kupp in practice kind of move. So I think ultimately too, and I know a lot of people are sitting here, there's at least one person right now, fuming right now. It's inside linebackers. But I'll be honest, Spates coming in has played well, especially as a UDFA who did have to come in late as Troy Reeder is on IR. But also Christian Roseboom. I know his season has not been what we've wanted it to be, considering the trade and the timing of the Ernest Jones move and all that stuff. And then we needed to rely on Roseboom and Troy Reeder at that time. And Roseboom has had a bit of an up and down season, mostly down. I'll give you that. But this last game against Seattle, by far his best game of the season, by miles. It wasn't even close. In fact, he even hit his single game career record with tackles for loss. It was 2, but you know what I mean? That still counts. That's still progress. It's still headed in the right direction. And I've liked the way that Roseboom's been flying around. His tackling does seem a lot more sure in spates. Like I said, he's coming in flying around, man. He's filling up gaps on big run plays in very important downs and stuff. And I think that ultimately may have gone into the decision of like, hey, maybe we'll be okay. Maybe we can make it through with these guys, and maybe we can address this in the off season or something if we need to. Because again, people can get better, people can get worse. I always talk about that like I know at my job, I'll use the radio station job as an example of like when I first started, I was all awkward and stuff. Like, I don't know what to say. I said, way too many times like that. And then I got to a point, I was a few years into being on the radio and I was communicating well and better and more concise and just delivering the information in a more entertaining and more valuable way. And so people can get better, but also people can get worse. And I think that I've seen that in different jobs that I've worked as well. People just, they maybe stop caring about the job or something like that, and your performance does suffer. So that is the same thing with football players. Same exact thing can happen. So Roseboom, to say that he's going to be the same player in week 1 than week 18, I just don't think that that's realistic. And I would say that about every single player on the roster. I just use Roseboom as that specific example because I know he's been under fire from the Rams fan base. And rightfully so. I mean, but in fairness too, I always defend him and say he was not anticipating being in that position. We thought we were going in with Ernest Jones. And then right before the season started, that fell apart. It was after the preseason ended. Like, we'd played all of our games, and all of a sudden it was like, and now we need a starting inside linebacker. We just lost our captain. Like, so it was a very weird situation. So I even include the inside linebacker spot that I think that the proper way to tag it would be going into the trade deadline with the thought process of like, if this position group does not get addressed, we cannot win football games. And I don't think we have any of those right now. I really don't. I think that Roseboom and Spates have been playing fine football. In fact, this last week was pretty good football, actually. Our offensive line is getting healthy, so we don't need to address that. Our defensive line, which I saw this from JB Long on X, calling it the fearsome 2020 foursome. And dude, first of all, so mad I didn't think of that, but it's also so cool. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be latching onto that bad boy. But I think that's ultimately where I'm at right now, is that there was no position group in the league or on the team, on the roster, that was in a situation where if this does not get addressed, if this position group does not improve, we can't win. That did not exist anymore. We also had a lot of fans wanting Lattimore, by the way. I know secondary was a position grouping that a lot of people wanted. I didn't really feel like we needed him. I don't feel like he would have been, I mean, obviously he's a good player. He brings value to you. I just don't understand where he would have fit in this group specifically, because I think that D-Will and Akello on the outside, it's killer. Kobe coming in as well. I think we're playing good ball there. Josh Wallace is a solid corner. Like, our secondary, kind of sick, actually. They're so young and so, like, raw and so, but that almost helps, I think. Like, you got McCullough just, like, flying around, just killing people out. Oh, it's so cool, dude. So cool. We'll talk about McCullough in a little bit. But let's see here. So, also, I think that, sidebar, I think that getting healthy is better than a big move. And somebody said that to me, and I apologize. I don't remember who. I think it may have been Rams House, of saying, like, that's actually better than a big name move, is the fact that we might get Jonah Jackson and Steve Avila back this week. And Joe Noteboom is back this week. So that alone is better than getting a Lattimore. I'm more excited about that than if we would have done the move for a Lattimore. But speaking of the Rams moves, all right, so we did make one move. It was the Rams trading away cornerback Tre'Davious White. He short timer for the Rams. That's going to be a name that kind of pops up in the future where, like, oh yeah, Trey White played for us. And it's going to be one of those like, oh yeah, you know, but shipped off to the Baltimore Ravens, who were in on Lattimore, by the way. And then when that didn't happen and Lattimore went to Washington, who's a killer squad. I've talked about that almost too much, I think, leading into the season, how high I was on Washington, and now everybody is following suit. I don't say that to be like, I'm keeping receipts or whatever, but it was like, hey, I saw this one coming, dude. I put money on them to win that division and all that stuff, so that's good stuff. But Washington addressed a corner need there, and then Baltimore was in on Lattimore, ends up with Trey White, who, he gets sent with a 2026 7th-round pick, and the Rams only receive a 2025 7th-round pick. So I see a lot of people getting mad about this return as well. It feels pretty straightforward to me. It's not good, not necessarily bad, though, either. The simple fact is that White wasn't even playing for us. He was a healthy scratch. We didn't even feel like him, even healthy, able to run around. We were like, nah, we're good. We're fine on Sundays without you, bud. So that's kind of what the Rams decided. So to basically, get rid of him, you move off a guy that you can pretty quickly decide, like, okay, it didn't work out for us. That's fine. You improve a 7th-round pick by a year. Sure. Worth it. Why not? Why not? Your alternative was to cut him and then not get anything. So, I'm fine with this. Let's see here. Some other transactions here. The Rams did activate offensive lineman Joe Noteboom. Kind of mentioned that. Rams terminate Ryan Sanborn, the punter from the practice squad. No word yet on Ethan Evans and what that will mean for Zantler. I can't believe I forgot punter's name, dude. Dang it. Oh, I feel like a jerk now. Did a decent job, honestly. Had a couple of booms, especially those first, I think his first 2 were really solid. Obviously had the block that can't be put on him. That was definitely a blocking scheme kind of situation. And you could see it, you could feel it coming. When I was rewatching the game and knowing that was on the way, you could tell that Seattle was kind of setting that up a little bit. And we had punted more than we had hoped, having a backup punter. But no word yet on Ethan Evans and his health and when he'll be back. The way that Sean McVay talked about his health, though, it kind of seemed like it is a big deal, but he will be okay. Not sure what is going on. Honestly, because he said it's not COVID. So my brain goes to things of like, is it like kidney stones or something? Like, because I don't know. I've dealt with a bunch of those and I still work. So if that's it, Ethan, then come on. Get it together, man. Also, if you have kidney stones, don't work. I'm not trying you don't have to tough it out. All right. It's fine to stay home. And I wish I would sometimes. I'm just a little too stubborn. A little too stubborn for that. Former Rams tackle Tremaine Ankrum has signed to the Texans practice squad, so he's getting a job. Former Rams guard Zach Thomas waived by the Patriots, who is the Rams' next opponent after the Miami Dolphins. Also, the Rams release Jonah Williams, who does return to the practice squad. But the second I saw that name come across, I was like, oh, man, I like Jonah Williams, man. I think that dude's awesome. So having him as a rotational guy, especially with these young guys, I kind of put Jonah Williams a little bit into a pocket with Michael Hoyt. Michael Hoyt is, I think, just more experienced, but I think talent-wise, Jonah Williams and Michael Hoyt, very similar players as far as production goes. Let's talk about the playoffs. We are getting there, dude. We're getting there. We're getting closer into it. And this is about the week that I said. We kind of had talked about this week being the week that it's like, if we can be okay going into week 9 or week 10, home against Miami, if we can be around 500, we'll be okay. We are 500, and that's pretty awesome. But the Rams are sitting as the 5th wild card team right now, which means we are 2 out. The Bears are ahead of the Rams right now. They are also sitting on the outside, but the wild card teams today are the Minnesota Vikings at 6-2, the Philadelphia Eagles at 6-2, and the Green Bay Packers sitting at 6-3. So, of course, the Bears and the Packers, the Rams do not have the tiebreaker against them, as both of those teams have defeated the LA Rams this season. So the head-to-head does go to those teams. Minnesota, however, the Rams do have the head-to-head on, and the Rams do play the Philadelphia Eagles in just a few weeks. We've got the Dolphins, Pats, home again against the Eagles. That is a Sunday night football game next to it, SoFi primetime. I love that, dude. Primetime at SoFi is... It's next level, dude. I mean, I was about to just make a sound. That's it. That's how cool it is. That's awesome. But yeah, obviously, there's some work to be done. We are sitting 2 games out of a spot right now, 2 wins out of a spot right now. But that is a team that did defeat the Rams. So obviously, we're kind of needing some teams to fall apart a little bit. The Green Bay Packers are a team that I think that they feel like they're leveling out a little bit. The Minnesota Vikings do feel like they are on a little bit of a backslide right now. They're trying to catch themselves. The Philadelphia Eagles, that team is a team I don't trust. Even they win, and they're like yelling at their own fans still, so I don't even know what's going on up there. That's probably the worst 6-2 team I've ever seen. I feel pretty good saying that, actually. I don't feel like I'm being too aggressive towards the Eagles. I got no problems with the Philadelphia Eagles, whatever. But ultimately, I don't think that they're that good. So 6-2 for them. I mean, there's a lot of games to go, but obviously with the Rams sitting at 4-4, you got a team ahead of you that is trying to get in as well. They've already beat you. You got the Green Bay Packers ahead of them who've already beaten you. That's pretty tough business. All right, so obviously some work to be done, but the best path for the Rams will just be, I believe, not be a wild card team and just win the West. Speaking of the West, the rest of the West, time to see what those other three dweebs are up to. We'll start with the Arizona Cardinals, sitting at 5-4 in first place in the NFC West with a 2-0 divisional record. They're playing some sound football. Not going to lie about that. All right, so they had two of the walk-off winners. One was the Chargers, then they did it again the next week against somebody, and then defeating the Bears this week. So the Arizona Cardinals on a 3-game win streak right now. Is that for real? Gosh. Arizona Cardinals, though, like I want to sit here and say the Arizona Cardinals are not a first-place team in this division. But first of all, everybody else is also right in the same bracket as far as record goes. So I do think that the Rams are in a good spot right now with a ton of momentum to overtake the Arizona Cardinals. Plus, we get a game with them later. So Rams do, in a sense, kind of, well, I mean, we're 4-4, they're 5-4. So we do kind of control our own destiny in a sense, but not quite yet, because we do need the Arizona Cardinals at least to just lose one more game, and then we can technically control our own destiny if we don't lose anymore. But, I want to talk trash about Kyler and all that stuff, but, I mean, hey, they're playing decent football, and they're putting together dubs, and that's really all you can ask for as a football team. You want your guys to be able to just kind of hold it together. But they're not doing anything explosive. They're not doing anything super exciting. In fairness, they're actually a pretty boring team to watch this year. But it's leading to some dubs. So there. The Rams sitting at 4-4 in second place, 2-1 in the NFC West with that loss coming to the Arizona Cardinals, have defeated the Seahawks and the 49ers. But starting to get healthy now. It looks like some reinforcements coming on the offensive line. We at least get Noteboom back, which is huge considering Big Rob won't play this week. We'll talk more about that in the game preview. And then also potential of getting Jonah Jackson as well as Steve Avila back. And it's not like Bo Limmer has played poorly, all right? But we can improve there. Jonah and Steve are better players, more experienced players. Bo, though, killer, dude, and got great experience. He's a killer, number 2 now, to have on the bench. That's absolutely awesome, because if something were to happen, we've got this guy who started a bunch of games. Like, that's pretty awesome. I'll take that for sure. And then at the left guard spot, obviously, we had Bruss playing there a little bit. Then he got pulled for Diddich, and then Diddich has been playing decent ball as well. But you can see it again, and I was watching again when I was doing my rewatch. You see sometimes where Stafford's getting rid of it a little bit early because that gap in there specifically, that A on the left side is getting just a little bit smoked. Not a lot, in fairness. Those guys are playing good football, and for what we're asking them to do, Diddich and Limmer, 6th round and undrafted. Like, dude, we're doing fine. Like, they're playing really, really good, all things considered. But Jonah and Steve coming back does make that position healthier, better, just overall. And then obviously we're still going to get John Johnson back, so that's a big plus in the secondary, who's playing great. So it's like, where does he even slot in, dude? Because like everybody's playing some really good football right now on the defensive side especially. So there's obviously that part. 49ers, though. Well, we don't need talk about the Rams in the rest of the West. That was my mistake, I think. I got too excited. My bad. The 49ers, though, sitting in third place at 4-4. They are behind the Rams because of the head-to-head, of course. They are off this week, but have a tough road ahead of them, dude. Let me actually pull up their schedule, because as I was looking at their schedule, San Fran and Seattle, they've got some tough roads, man. Hold on. I'm going to text Rams House back right now. All right. So you'll know now when I saw your message. Let me see here. So yeah, we're going to look at the Seahawks and 49ers, I guess we could, of their records here, because let's see here. Like I said, all I wrote was tough road ahead. I got make my better notes. So coming off the bye week, they are in Tampa Bay, who's a solid team. Then they're home against the Seahawks, divisional game, always tough. They're in Green Bay late November on the 24th, which seems like some Rams scheduling stuff, so that's good news. After that, they are in Buffalo for their first game of December, who the Rams will get the following week, but at home. Then the 49ers come home after Buffalo to take on the Bears. They are at home against the Rams, to Miami against the Lions, and then in Arizona. So tough road, dude. Tough road ahead for the San Francisco 49ers. And then you also look at the Seattle Seahawks, who are in last place at 4-5. They're 0-2 in the division, and they really needed this bye week. They're on a bye this week. They needed that so bad. But 3 of their next 4 games are division games. And check this, their last 4 are at home against Green Bay, at home against Minnesota, in Chicago. So just a little bit of an NFC North gauntlet there, and then ending at the Los Angeles Rams. Dude, the Niners and Seahawks are not making the playoffs, man. Like, they got to really get some stuff rolling if that is something that they're going to be part of, man. But I think the Rams can win the division, which I do think is the easiest path to the playoffs, which in this division makes total sense. But you got to think, the Rams sitting in that 5th wild card slot, you got right ahead of you is the Bears, which is the last place team in the NFC North. We're behind the entire NFC North in the playoff race, man. So that's tough business, man. But obviously we need some of those teams to kind of fall apart. So we'll kind of just be looking at that. We got your game preview headed here soon, but first, time to talk about today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. UnderdogFantasy.com is where you can check them out. Also, the app is absolutely incredible, man. Absolutely love it. But it's the best place to cash in on all your takes this football season. We've all got opinions. We think this guy's hot. This guy's ice cold. Well, just, put in those entries. Just a few taps away, man. It's nothing bad at all. And turn those opinions into some real cash, dude. Absolutely love it. Also, Underdog is available in 33 states, including California, Texas, Georgia as well. And every dog deserves a second chance. With Underdog Rescues, you can get your money back and receive a promo if an early injury causes your entry to lose. Absolutely sweet business there, man. Underdog is the best place to play champions. Sign up and deposit now using the promo code SHOWCASE to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. My favorite part of Underdog is just straight up the simplicity, man. You open that bad boy up, you type in LOS, hit enter, you find that Rams game, and you start hitting higher, lower. It really is that easy. And it's your basic stats as well. It's your touchdown passes. It's your passing yards, receiving yards, assisted tackles, interceptions, sacks, stuff like that, man. It's really easy. And again, we all have guys that we think like, oh, this guy's about to get hot. This guy's going to continue to be cold. Get those entries in and put those entries in, dude. Just put it in, man. Get your opinions to make you some dollars, dude. That's the best part, right? So again, download the app today. Use promo code SHOWCASE. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That is promo code SHOWCASE for $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. You must be 18 or over, 19 over in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 over in Colorado for some games, 21 over in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Absolutely love it. And again, with Underdog, it really is that easy. Higher or lower, you make the call on Underdog. We got the full game preview, Dolphins at Rams. That is headed your way next on Ram Showcase. Welcome back into Ram Showcase. My name is Sheriff Joe Baggs. The Los Angeles Rams, sitting at 4-4, will host the Miami Dolphins with a 2-6 record, coming into SoFi Stadium for Monday Night Football for Week 10 action. 5:15 p.m. kickoff time on ESPN. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman will be on call. Lisa Salters on the sideline. If you don't want to listen to them, ESPN 2 for Peyton and Eli. Also, Bill Belichick does some time over there as well. Who I love post-football, Bill Belichick, dude. He's actually got like a personality and stuff. He's actually like kind of funny. Absolutely love it, dude. It's super fun. There's going to be a high of 66 on Monday in Inglewood. Should be about mid-60s all game long. So if you're heading out there, If you're a California local, might want to bundle up. Otherwise, t-shirts. All right. -2.5 for the Rams. -138 on the money line. And over under 50.5. I feel like I've been saying 48.5 this whole time, dude. But yeah, sitting at 50.5 this time. Week 10, dude. This is the one, man. This is where I was kind of targeting this entire time. So we talked about this most of the season of like saying week 10, man, is if we can be all right by week 10, because this is our last of the extended breaks. So obviously Monday night, we get that extra day. Going into Seattle, we had the extra time because we were on Thursday. That obviously was a tight window, but we had 2 home games, Sunday and Thursday. And then before that, the bye week. And then before that was also at home against the Packers. So, excuse me. But that was obviously a really sweet setup to get healthy, be at home a whole bunch, and then also your road game is just, it's up the coast, so it's not obviously it's a decent distance and stuff like that, but you're up the coast in a place you're familiar with. So there's there was a lot of positive scheduling in terms of the Rams being set up nicely. But that ends now, all right? So this is why I was kind of eyeballing this game specifically. But this was the week that I was like, if we can be healthy by this time, this is about the time where we should start being healthy. And if we can just hold it together, we just need to win some games that we feel like we can win. We lost some that we feel like we should have won, but we got back to 500, and now we're getting healthy. So basically feels like a little bit of a clean slate, and now the real games begin, essentially, which sucks because now we got 2 AFC opponents. Those are very difficult, and especially considering, which I'll talk about here in just a second, our history against the Miami Dolphins. But Jonah and Steve may return. Puka and Cooper already obviously back. D. Will is back. Johnson should be back as soon, as well as Higgs, who I have not heard an update on, so no word on when he will be making his return. But obviously that will help as well. His continuity with Stafford. And then when Big Rob, it looks like he's going to miss 1, maybe 2 games, but possibly just this one. Steve and Jonah come back. Then our offense is fully healthy going into like week 11. Dude. Yeah, sign me up, man. That's absolutely incredible. Rams 500 heading into this game. Decent schedule ahead of them. Obviously some tough games, but some important games as well. Like we got the Philadelphia Eagles coming up. We have another game with the Arizona Cardinals coming up. So these are games that the Rams need to be in a situation to win, because if you don't win those kind of games, then you're probably just not a playoff team. That's just how this season looks like it's going to shake out. The NFC does look a lot stronger than we maybe anticipated coming in to the season. But I kept saying that we just needed to survive until this game. Long week with it being Monday Night Football, but like I said, that's pretty much done now. We do get a Thursday night game later in the year against the 49ers, so that'll give us an extended break after that. But ultimately, this is about where we could ask to be, considering the health early in the season. I mean, this team is sitting at 1-4. I mean, to pull it to 500, put yourself in a spot. You got 2 games against 2 AFC teams that you are really better than on paper. So could go from 1-4 to a 6-4 team like that, dude. That's pretty sick. And post bye week Rams, man, that's been a thing. All right, Sean McVay takes that bye week very serious, and we love him for it. But the history of this matchup is kind of what I was referring to. The 15th all-time meeting between these two, so not a big history for these ones. But the Miami Dolphins do lead the all-time series 12-2. Dolphins have won the last 5. The Rams' last win coming in 2001, September 30th, 2001. That was a 42-10 win for the Rams. And if you remember the 0-1 Rams, they're a pretty good football team. So there's that. The Rams' only other win came October 3rd of 1976. That was a 31-28 win by the Rams. Total points being scored, though, in this series, Miami 347, the Rams 245, which means the Rams have been outscored all time by Miami by more than 100. And if you take into consideration those 14 games, the Rams are losing those games, all 14 games on average, by an average of 7.2 points. And yes, that does include the wins. And no, I will not do the math to remove the 42-10 win that the Rams had in 2001, because then that number will be terrifying. Stories to watch in this game. The Rams, of course, have won their last 3 games back in the playoff hunt, and vibes are cooking, dude. Those vibes are simmering right now, man. It's absolutely awesome. It's cool to also have Rams fans back being excited because I also play a weird role in the Rams media landscape here. I think maybe I'm making this up, but where I kind of feel like I'm just here for the love of the game, dude. Like my win is that the Rams play every week. As long as they do that, dude, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper, man. You think you can hurt my feelings, dude? I watched the 09 Rams play football, but like I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at. But it's exciting and it's more fun when all like my fan quesos and stuff aren't just like, what are we gonna do? When can we get rid of this guy? And like all this stuff. Like it's fun now to be back around where everybody's back. Like, yo, we're kind of sick. Like, yeah, we are, dude. Told you this might happen. So welcome back. But either way, I mean, back into the race. The vibes are cooking. Fan base is getting hyped up, man. You got these young guys really finding their own. Kinchins just explodes one week. Jalen McCullough looks like the sickest safety in the NFL. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp obviously come back. We saw what that did, but you got the young guys. Fisk, dude, breaking out this weekend. Absolutely awesome. You got Jared Verse, who is the rookie of the year already. Like, just give it to him now. You know what I mean? And then you got Byron and Kobe coming in second year. These guys are like the seasoned, grizzled vets, but they barely played more games than the rookies. And then you also got the secondary, man. You bring back in D. Will. You bring back in Akello. Those guys are absolutely on fire. It's awesome, dude. The vibes are cooking right now, like I said. So absolutely incredible. Demarcus Robinson absolutely pops in the return of 10 and 17. That's awesome. Like you expect and you anticipate that those guys will get their reps and their targets and all that stuff. But for D-Rob to go back-to-back weeks, multi-touchdowns, dude, he is the biggest beneficiary of this health so far. The biggest so far. Him and Stafford, I suppose, would be in that. But the defense, sick as hell, and all of a sudden has scored in 4 straight games. After we were like, is Shula the guy? Do we need to get rid of Shula? All of a sudden, we're just like scoring tuds all the time. Maybe use high voice on that one, man. And obviously, offensive line health, getting back despite having Big Rob down for a game. That's a little bit lame. And Rams House mentioned something. I forgot. I think I don't know if I sent it to him or not. But he was like, I feel like we're taking 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I was like, I feel quite literally the opposite. Like, I feel like we're taking 2 steps forward and only 1 back, and then another 2 forward and then 1 back. So we're still gaining ground. We're getting healthier. It seems like when we're fully healthy, then this guy drops off. Or we get Kupp and Nacua back, and then Nacua gets ejected. Like, it's stuff like that. And it's like, we're so close. We're like right there. But it does feel like it is settling down. I mean, obviously it's a violent sport. It's a very aggressive sport, stuff like that. So obviously people are going to go down. That's just what's going to happen. Those are just the rules, man. I don't make the rules. I just watch football because it's the sickest sport in the world, dude. In Miami, though, vibes a little bit lower. And by a little bit lower, I mean a lot of bit lower. There's still hope, though. You know what I mean? And when I talk about the vibes of the Miami Dolphins, I personally am referring to the grouping of Dolphins fans that go to the bar that I watch football at. Because I talk to those guys. Those guys are awesome. I get along great with them. But I kind of just chat with them every once in a while. I chat with most people there, but like kind of chatting with them and just getting the vibe. And especially this last week, I wanted to kind of catch them and just kind of seeing how they were doing and stuff like that. And their vibes are not good, man. They're not strong. They're a lot of like confusion, I think, because let's face it, on paper, that team is one of the sickest in the NFL. They're 2-6. Something's got to give, dude. Something's got to give. They have lost their last 3, but all losses have come by 6 points or less, so they are in every game. Tua's return does make Miami definitely more explosive, but simply put, they're not explosive as they should be considering their roster. They're absolutely loaded, and it seems like that McDaniel, his seat is probably getting pretty warm. And in fact, I already know Dolphins fans were like, get this guy out of here. I like McDaniel, and for multiple reasons. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a cool guy. And also, he's like best friends with one of my favorite comedians of all time, in Dan Soder. And they like grew up in Colorado together and stuff like that. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of cool connections with like my friend group and that friend group. And I just think that's really cool. I would have been the Mike McDaniel if my friend group like replicated exactly what that, or maybe I would be Dan Soder. I don't know, man. Would I be a comedian or would I be a coach? What do you think? Those are 2 very different paths, man. But either way, man, it's too explosive. They're too powerful of weapons to be a 2-6 team. And something does, it's got to give, man. They're near the bottom of the standings. it's getting a little bit desperate. So they'll probably either come into play or the Rams will just torch them. But that will tell us, I think, a lot about the McDaniel future and what that could look like. If the Rams absolutely roll the Dolphins this week, it's 42-10 again, something like that, then we could see McDaniel get booted pretty quick. But if they're still fighting, maybe he'll stick around for a little while. But I do think that the patience is running a little bit thin, at least in the fan base, from the fans that I have spoken with. Let's take a look at the matchup in this one. We got the Rams offense going against the Dolphins defense. The Rams defense is 18th in the league, 328.9 a game. And the Dolphins defense, though, 7th in the league in total yards being given up. The Rams are top 10 passing unit, 9th in the league, but the Dolphins are top 5 pass defense units with Jalen Ramsey and the gang there. Running the ball, the Rams are almost putting up 100 a game. That's 26th in the league, and the Dolphins defense 13th against the run, giving up 120. Points being scored per game, Rams putting up a little over 21 points. That is 21st in the league. The Dolphins defense giving up about 23.5 a game. That's 17th in the league. On third down, the Rams are 23rd in the league on third down with a 35.8% conversion rate, and Dolphins giving up a third. That is tied for 6th in the NFL. So, Rams offense just a different beast when you got Stafford, you got Kupp, you got Nakua, you got Williams, especially all 4 of those guys on the field together, dude. Good luck, defense. Sorry about your ankles and your feelings, probably. But this is going to be a fun matchup, especially going against Jalen Ramsey. He had that super sick pick last week, man. Just reaction time was obviously killer on that one, but we know who Ramsey is. We know that he's an absolute monster, dude, who can turn it on at any moment or also get torched. So maybe we'll see something cool happen for Kupp. Rams offensive line, losing Big Rob does, it seems like it's only going to be this week, and we're hopeful that it's only going to be this week. But ultimately, we do get a much healthier offensive line this week, so that's absolutely incredible news. The Dolphins pass defense, one of the best in the league, straight up. Williams and the additions to the offensive line, though, could mean that is the plan of attack, to kind of hit the ground attack on Monday Night Football. Chances that we see Puka Nakua get ejected again, by the way, probably 0%. I feel so confident in that. And in fact, I was talking to people at work about this. It's like, if I wouldn't have watched the game, and you would have told me in the second quarter a Rams player got ejected for punching or for throwing a punch, which, come on. But either way, if you would have asked me who got ejected for that, Puka Nakua might have been my last pick. Or my second to last pick, behind like a Kobe Turner. Like him, Kupp, Turner, Stafford, those are probably my last picks on the entire roster. And not to say that the other guys are just out here unhinged, but but Puka Nakua is such like a calm, collected, fun guy that that's crazy. 0%, dude. He'll never do that again. I feel so good about that. And I get being mad about it and stuff like that, but in my brain, it's like, oh, he knows. He's probably more mad at himself than any of us. You know what I mean? And the way that he was fired up for D-Rob at the end of the game after scoring that game winner, man, I mean, heck, he not absolutely love that guy. I've never been so stoked for somebody who got ejected after he was still celebrating something. I was like, see, that's my guy, man. Absolutely awesome. Best matchup in this one, though, Rams offense against the Dolphins defense. I'm going with Cooper Kupp versus Jalen Ramsey. We know that Jalen, one of the top in the league. We know he's one of the best in the NFL, man. Talent for days, man. He's played really good football since being traded away from the Rams as well, which also does sting a little bit, but that's okay, man, because he's etched in Rams history, man. He not only rocks a Super Bowl ring with our logo on it, but he also helped design that bad boy. And if you remember watching those videos, that was absolutely awesome, man. He was in there filing stuff, he helped make his own ring, I think. That's so cool, man. So Ramsey, obviously, we know his spot in LA Rams, franchise history. It's solidified. It's there. It's cemented. It's already locked in, all right? But we obviously hope he gets handed a big old L this weekend and gets his ankles absolutely ripped off his torso. No, that's not where your ankles are. Ripped off his shins, man, by Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua doing their route things, man. But both guys obviously have their work cut out for them, man. But I imagine that Sean has some scheming that could get these guys open, no matter how sticky Jalen Ramsey might be. 3 to C on the offensive side. We're going to start with the offensive line. Yes, the entire offensive line, doing the whole thing, all of them. All of them. Love them all. They're all awesome. They're my guys. Steve and Jonah returning this week. Could be returning this week. We don't have confirmation on that, so take that into consideration. The extra day does kind of help, though. Note Boom returns this week. Incredible timing with Big Rob going down. Will not head to IR for Big Rob, though, so it doesn't look like a long-term thing. But the Jackson, Avila, Dotson, Note Boom, that combo feels good for this game. Feels good for this game, man. And the rookies have not been playing poorly, but obviously to get Jonah and Steve back in action, absolutely massive. Those offensive line, I'm just digging it right now, I think is where I'm at. Demarcus Robinson, D-Rob, man, this guy's absolutely on fire right now. He is crushing souls and cracking skulls. I think that's what. Back-to-back games with multi-touchdowns. Absolutely love to see that. Also, only his third multi-touchdown game in his career, man. Got him back-to-back. Obviously, that's awesome. And beneficiary of 10 and 17 being back in action. He is fitting into his role absolutely flawlessly. He does not need to be a wide receiver one. I love D-Rob, but that's not what he's at. He could get there, and I think that he's got the skills to do it, but I just don't think he's there yet. To be behind a Kupp, even a wide receiver, too, I think is kind of where D-Rob needs to be. But obviously, we've got two guys in Kupp and Puka who are absolutely insane. But you get him paired with those guys, so many eyeballs are going to them. Then you leave a weapon that's just not... It's hard to cover this guy. I mean, when you have those other weapons on the outside, man. So it's very tough. And D-Rob taking massive advantage of that. Don't look for that to stop, all right? And Kyren Williams is going to be our last on the 3 to see. Williams off of a frustrating day. All right. A little bit of a frustrating day. He saw his touchdown streak end. And that was against the McDonald defense, which was the last game he also didn't score a touchdown in. So a little bit of a bone to pick there when we take on the Seahawks in Week 18, making sure we score some tuds for Williams here. And it seemed like every time he had a decent run, it was called back for penalty as well. So overall, just a really frustrating day. It seemed like Kyren Williams and Jackson Smith-Njigba were always in a situation. I mean, obviously, we know Njigba got his big plays, but there was so many where he was getting stuff called back for flags, and he just looked so disappointed. But it was him and Kyren that were both getting it. And also, JSN. Dude, back off my boy Jalen McCullough. What is your problem? He got he was so mad at 39 that he even he caught a ball and then looked at everybody and was looking down at their numbers. Like, first of all, get a face, guy. But then also he's looking at everybody's number, and then he finds Jalen McCullough, who was not even in the play, and goes up and talks trash to him and is like, okay, guy, get out of here, man. What are you doing? But either way, it was Kyren Williams. He looked like he was just getting okay, enough, man. Enough with the penalties, which can't blame him. I was saying the same exact thing. Williams, obviously, though, clearly one of the top guys in the league today. And going against a team with a strong pass defense, Williams could be getting the ball, could be leaned on a little bit more this week than normal. The advantage in this one, I mean, I realize that the numbers say the Dolphins have the advantage here, but the Rams team is really just different with all these weapons, and we have not had that for the bulk of the season. Also, healthy offensive line, which we have not had at all this season, especially when you consider that A.J. Jackson had missed the first 2 games due to a suspension. So we've not had our offensive line together for 1 game this year, and we might get that for the first time in New England next week. So that's very exciting, but either way, I mean, to get a healthy offensive line now, for that reason alone, man, I'm going with the Rams offense here. Stafford, he should have more time pending that offensive line health in Steve and Jonah returning. Obviously, rust, it may be a factor there, but better run lanes should be opening here, and the weaponry running routes out there that we've seen for the past 2 games. These averages just don't tell the entire story. The Rams are rolling right now, and I'm going to say the Rams have the advantage in this matchup. Other side of the ball. Let's go to the other side here. Dolphins offense against the Rams defense. Dolphins are rocking the 20th ranked total offense, while the Rams defense 24th in the NFL. The Dolphins pass attack 24th in the league, not even putting up 200 a game. The Rams defense, though, giving up over 225. That's 23rd in the NFL. They're running the rock. Dolphins are a top 10 unit here, 9th in the league, while the Rams defense 24th, giving up over 135 a game. Points being put up, Dolphins almost dead last, not even putting up 16 points a game. The Rams, though, giving up a little over 24. That's tied for 22nd in the league. And third down, the Dolphins are converting almost 40%. That's 14th in the league, and the Rams giving up 36%. That is 14th in the league as well. So what we're looking at here, obviously, Dolphins offense, mad explosive, but this Rams defense has scored in 4 straight games. We're scoring points over here, man. You take away the points that the Rams offense is scoring, and the Rams defense is almost keeping them in games themselves, which is rather exciting. And then you add in 10, 17, and 9 doing their thing. Dude, sorry about it, man. Sorry about it. The Rams defense, though, I mean, they're starting to play a little bit more with the swag lately. Just a little bit more loose, a little bit more free, a little bit more aggressive. 7 sacks against the Seahawks. Felt like a big day was coming. A big sack day was coming. We kind of there's even been quesos about that of like, when's this gonna pop off, man? And poor Gino. It just had to be against him, huh? I'll take it. Dolphins offense, though, explosive players everywhere. They can score at any time, but they aren't that explosive this season. And something's got to give. Tyreek Hill, I know he's been dealing with a little bit there. Devon A-Chain and Jalen Waddle. I mean, these guys can score from anywhere. And yes, I said A-Chain. Okay, I'm a Texas A&M fan. All right, Giga Maggies, and that's where A-Chain went, and that entire time, he called himself A-Chain. We called him A-Chain. Everyone accepted that he was A-Chain, and then he just goes to, and it's spelled A-Chain, and then he just goes to the NFL, and all of a sudden, A-Chain? Dude, I can't get used to that. That's like if Matthew Stafford was like, you know what? I'd take it back. Go ahead and call me John. And we're like, no. No, dude, it's too late for that, man. You're Matthew, you know? So that's how I feel about A-Chain, by the way. But either way, those guys can score at any time. A-Chain's obviously awesome. Hill, Waddle, incredible talents there, man. But McDaniel, though, he does have experience going against the Rams, obviously with his time in San Francisco. But this Dolphins team is clearly underperforming this season, so something's got to give there for that grouping there. And it does seem, in my opinion, like the rest of the league has caught up to the coaching staff. And the coach, maybe not the coaching staff as a whole, the scheme a little bit. I think the rest of the league has kind of caught up to it and kind of know what to watch for here. Best matchup in this one, I'm going to give it to the pass rush against Tua. So Rams off a 7-sack day. This is a young group. Are they going to be coming in riding high, or and kind of just like, oh, we are awesome at this, or is there blood in the water now, and now everybody on the rest of the schedule is just in danger? Like, we have to put out some alerts out here, man. You're gonna see Tua on some milk cartons this weekend. Well, on Tuesday. It won't happen this weekend unless he gets scared, and then it might. Search party for Tua. He's got a game on Monday. He's hiding. But either way. Tua, though, tall task sifting through these guys, man. But unlike Geno, Tua does do a decent job of keeping his eyes up even when that pass rush is coming. That is the best part about playing a Geno Smith, is that the second you start getting some pressure, you throw in some blitzes, and we did see a lot more blitzes last week than we have the rest of the year. You start seeing those, his eyes drop. His eyes are looking at the rush. And you have a lot of guys that are not like that. Obviously, like your Mahomes, your Jacksons and all that stuff. Those guys are obviously going to keep their eyes open, a lot like a Stafford does as well. His eyes get so wide. It's so funny. But Geno is a guy that he's looking at the pass rush. So once you can blitz him, you get a free rusher, you're probably going to get to him because he's not even looking for receivers anymore. Tua, though, does do a better job keeping his eyes downfield. Fisk had a little bit of a breakout party last week. You got to fisk it to get the biscuit, and we definitely did that. So now gets to come home under the primetime SoFi lights. Feels like this group will be amped up, so I'm absolutely fired up for it. 3 to C on the defensive side. We're going to start with Jared Verse. Maybe he's going to be on here every week. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Jared Verse, and I think you should watch him every week. All right? 3 to C. Jared Verse. Pencil him in, man. But one like on this video is one prayer for every quarterback that Jared Verse will make soil themselves this season. So it's for a good cause. And also he's cleaned up the missed tackles and is now just an absolute menace to the league. Like, he's now that Jared Verse is not missing tackles, dude, not fair. Right? I'll take it, though. It's absolutely so much fun to watch, man. And he's talking trash to everybody. He's getting in people's faces. I love this stuff right now, man. Cam Kinchens next up. Another guy off a big day who I'm curious to see watch the following week. Is he coming in thinking that he's hot stuff now? Or is he coming in, there's blood in the water, man, he's ready to attack? Kinchins, though, 2 red zone picks. How does he come into this game, man? I'm excited to see how it happens, man. But also, I have not checked out the Rams revealed yet this week. It is Cam Kinchins. Fired up for it, man. Fired up for that one. I love the Rams revealed. I think that's the best piece of content that the Rams put out every week. Top tier. Top tier. But also, Cam Kinchins hitting and having a big breakout week, along with Jalen McCullough, who's absolutely on fire. Did the Rams just hit on 2 safeties in this draft class? Yo, so sick, man. That's absolutely awesome, man. And Christian Roseboom, I'm putting him on here for the 3 to see as well. He had his best day by far last week. First game in his career with multiple TFLs. And same story. How does he follow up with a strong performance? Because Christian Roseboom, he's very quiet. We don't hear a lot from Christian Roseboom. I'm a fan myself. I just like his play style. But it hasn't been working out for most of the season. But coming off of last week, man, it definitely did. So I'm fired up for it, and we'll see how it happens, man. Fans feel out on Roseboom, like they feel like they are just done and don't want anything to do with Roseboom. But he's paired with Spates. It's actually shaping up really nicely, and Reeder going down, starting to feel a little bit like a blessing in disguise. And I don't say that to say like I'm glad Reeder got hurt or anything like that, because that is not the case. I never want anybody to get injured. I don't support that at all. I've never celebrated an injury. I don't even care. Like, sidebar, there's a Browns fan that watches at the bar we watch at. Not a Browns fan anymore, because his own fan base cheered his quarterback getting hurt, and so he's like, "I'm done with you guys, man." And unfortunately, a Seahawks fan, I didn't know you could do that. By the way, I've never even considered it. I've never applied to change teams. I don't know what I would do with all my stuff. Probably just Edwin would ask for everything. So that's probably where it'd go. But either way, man, Christian Roseboom, pairing with Spates, that's actually, it's shaping up nice. So hopefully that does continue. Advantage here. Weapons-wise, Miami should be such a dangerous squad, but it feels like the NFL has just figured out this high-flying team. They just found it out. They figured it out. They figured out the Dolphins, man. A young Rams defense with a young defensive coordinator could present some issues, but this Rams defense absolutely starting to come together, man. Aubrey Pleasant has this young secondary really settling in, and the fearsome 2020 foursome is making quarterbacks' lives absolutely miserable. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Giving the advantage to the Rams defense here based on momentum and the massive improvements in the numbers over the last month. And if you have not caught up with those numbers, man, the Rams defense since the bye, one of the best in the NFL entirely. So sick. Connections in this one. Former Rams, who are now on the Dolphins. We'll start with wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., touchdown scorer for the Los Angeles Rams, on pace to potentially be the Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 56. Absolutely awesome there. Cornerback Jalen Ramsey, in fairness, did have one of his worst days in that Super Bowl. But we still won. Doesn't matter. Still got the ring. Still got the hardware. Still celebrating, dude. Hell yes. Assistant head coach, tight ends coach, John Embry, also former Ram. Wide receivers coach, Wes Welker. He spent some time on the Rams roster in 2015. Member of the St. Louis Rams with that big old helmet, man. Comically large helmet. Love that thing. Then you got your linebackers coach and your run game coordinator, Joe Barry, linebacker coach, former linebacker coach of the Rams. I was always extremely high on him. I like Joe Barry a lot. Former Dolphins, who are now on the Rams. Tight end Hunter Long came over by way of trade with that involved in that Jalen Ramsey deal. And senior offensive assistant, who has worked with everybody ever, is Jerry Sholplinski. So spending some time, of course, out there as well. In the NFL, as far as connections go, I didn't really find any that were notable backups that played with backups at other teams. Nothing super exciting there. College, though, had some cool ones, as Byron Young did play at Tennessee with running back Jalen Wright. D-Rob played at Florida with Marcus May, the safety. Kyron Williams, K-Dub, played at Notre Dame with offensive lineman Liam Eichenberg. Bobby Brown played at A&M with Devon A-Chain, and running back Deneric Prince. Laurel, by the way, Laurel is what I'm seeing on the website under the phonetics or whatever, the pronunciation guide there. Has played at, he played at NC State with linebacker Bradley Chubb. A.J. Jackson rocked some time at Iowa with cornerback C.J. Beathard. Oh, actually, fun fact, C.J. Beathard actually just got signed off the practice squad from somebody. So that's actually not a connection anymore. He's not there. Jared Verse played at FSU with linebacker Derek McClendon, and no, Fisk did not play at FSU with linebacker Derek McClendon. Jordan Whittington, Jay Witt, or Jason Willingham. Dude, that was killing me on the 9 and Dime, man. That was absolutely cracking me up. Jordan Whittington, though, played at Texas with wide receiver Tariq Black. Some milestones in this one. I've loaded this one up a little bit because there's a lot of cool things that have happened and a lot of little notable things that I kind of wanted to talk about. So we'll start with Matthew Stafford. Number 9, man, tied Eli Manning for 10th most passing touchdowns in NFL history with 366. Tied Matt Ryan for 6th most game-winning drives in the NFL with 46 total. Tied Jared Goff for 4th most games as a Ram with at least 3 touchdown passes. And we have, so it's at 14, and Roman Gabriel has 15. Everett has 16, and Warner with 21. So need a few more to take the lead there. Currently has the most games with 25 plus completions for any active quarterback in the NFL, which is pretty cool stuff. The only other one that could really be in that conversation, though, would have been Aaron Rodgers. Needs 4 completions to pass Kurt Warner for 5th most in Rams history. We've been tracking that one for a while and should get it this week. 14th quarterback ever to have at least 1,000 completions with multiple franchises. That's pretty cool. And it's just 31 yards shy of 2,000 on the season, and does have 9 touchdowns on the year so far as well. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp, he needs 1 touchdown reception to pass Elroy Hirsch for 3rd most in Rams history, and then at that point would only be behind Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holtz, both should be Hall of Famers, but Holt is getting burned every year, man. What the heck? Holt, though, if I almost want him to, I don't want to see him have to wait because he deserves to be in already. But could you imagine if Holt and Donald could get in the same class? Also, if you're obviously when Donald gets enshrined, I'll be there. So let's all do it, man. Let's blow that place out. Let's put so many number 99 jerseys in that bad boy, man. Let's do it. Anyway, moving on. Demarcus Robinson, D-Rob, 3rd ever multi-touchdown game in the first time in his career, doing it back-to-back. Of course, as it was only his 3rd time. And the other time was last week. So, with his 5th touchdown reception, he has now set a new career high for touchdowns in a season. Lots of season to go. D-Rob stacking it up, one of the best seasons of his career. And I hate to put this out there to you going into week 10, but probably, I don't know, maybe a person that could be seeing his last season as a Ram, I'm guessing, will be getting some offers, although I would need to look up his contract and see what that situation is like. Haven't really dug in that far yet, but D-Rob is looking like a guy who could be getting some dollar bills in free agency for sure. Kobe Turner becomes the 2nd player in Rams history to record at least 10 sacks in their first 19 games. The other name you may know, goes by the name Aaron Donald. You probably don't know him. It's not big of a deal. Darius Williams passed Travis Fisher for 15th most passes defended in Rams history. Travis Fisher, that's a name I haven't said in a long time. That's pretty fun stuff. Tyler Davis notching his first career sack, but the reason I put him on here is because not only did he notch his first career sack, so reason to celebrate for number 90, but also blowing up the 4th down play in overtime, forcing that running back to the outside where the rest of the team swarmed, man. But if you watch that play, that 4th down play, Tyler Davis absolutely blows up the middle. It gets in the backfield immediately. Running back's got to cut it, and it just gets eaten up. So Tyler Davis, probably the reason that play started that way. Spates, though, cleaning that bad boy up. Absolutely love to see it. Cam Kinchens, longest interception return in Rams history, 103. Tied for 4th longest interception return in NFL history. Longest interception by a rookie in the Super Bowl era. And the 3rd rookie this season to have a multi-interception game. One of those other ones? Jalen McCullough. Heck yes. Speaking of Jalen McCullough, joins Don Burrows in 1955, had 9 interceptions, and Night Train Lane 1952 had 14 interceptions. A legendary stat there. Obviously still your NFL record as the only undrafted rookies to get at least 4 interceptions. So Jalen McCullough in some pretty good company, but obviously needs 5 more to get to Burrows and a few more, 10 more to tie Night Train Lane. Man, that's absolutely awesome. I love to see that stuff, man. So, yes, we got the Miami Dolphins coming to town. Monday Night Football, ESPN or ESPN2 if you don't want to listen to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, which I understand. I will be on the regular broadcast myself, but so be it. You know what I mean? But, of course, this is a big one, man. We got two big games coming up here against AFC opponents, trying to keep pace with the rest of these other NFC teams. The Rams have won 3 straight. Dolphins have lost 3 straight. Like to keep those streaks going in both directions, as the Rams do continue to get healthy, continue to stack dubs, man, stacking blocks here. And then you obviously have your defense really pulling it together. You love to see it. Your offense seems to be finding more and more of a rhythm with every single rep that Cooper Kupp is out there. That guy is such glue to this offense, man. Like, it's a different football team when he's on the field, man. Everything's different. It's like JB Long talks about it, of like, throwing away the playbook when Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are both down. It's like, well, I don't need this anymore. I got to figure this out. Like, now you have that playbook back, and it's awesome, and you can tell, and you can feel it. So, obviously exciting. The only thing that I've kind of noticed is since the return of Kupp and Nacua, the targets for Tutu Atwell have dwindled to damn near zero. So I am a little bit more firm on this is probably his last year with us, unless he can really start sparking and really continue to not just be a contributor when our top tier guys are down, but to become a contributor when we are healthy, because that, to me, I believe, is really how you can make a true impact and stick around long term on a team, is to be able to have that with you there. So we're going way over time, by the way. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I've been talking. We got fan quesos. That's headed your way next right here at Ram Showcase. Ram Showcase, I am Sheriff Joe Bags. Time to hop into our fan quesos, and in not my defense, and I'm trying to accuse myself. I don't know how to word this. I forgot to post about fan quesos, so we don't have a ton here, but I haven't been able to check these because I last minute was like, fan quesos, send them in, and I have not looked at these yet. So we're gonna start with Edwin over on the Facebook page. Emphasis on the win, by the way. Says it looks like we've got a few in here, so let's take these one by one. So, do you think our pass rushers will think twice about tackling Tua given his history? Probably not. I don't think Jared Verse has the ability to care about quarterbacks. Clearly Byron Young doesn't. Fisk is out here for blood too, man. I don't know. I don't think so. But also, it's football, man. If you're cleared to play, if you are out there on the field, and there's doctors and people that say that's allowed, that's okay, and you feel okay out there, you're able to get hit. That's football, man. Not only a contact sport, it's a violent sport, and that's the name of the game, dude. So if he's putting himself at risk, they all are in theory. I want to say just Tua is, but he knows the risks, and he also knows how brutal these rushers are, man. These guys don't mess around, man. It's old school football, and I'm here for it. Says, and I've heard defenders yelling at him to slide. Defenders yelling at him to slide. Dude, that's so funny. I have not heard that. I personally think if you run, it's a free game. Our players have a job to do, but I do understand Tua needs to be careful. Yeah, it's his job to be careful. It's like that whole, why are you still running the ball and getting first downs? Like, well, stop me then, dude. It's not my job to stop me. It's not my job to keep Tua safe. It's Tua's job to keep Tua safe. And that's what Jared Verse should be saying, man. Not that I want to see Tua get hurt, but that's his job to do, you know? Let's see here. Do you believe Puka should have been thrown out of the game? I saw the replay and the defender pushed him and Puka barely touched him. Yeah, dude, I absolutely agree. I don't think they should have been an ejection. I think it should have been 15 because, in fairness, he did kind of swing. But in fairness, too, that action, that motion, it's going to get you kicked out, man. It's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. We obviously hate to see it, but that's what the ref saw, and that's what it is. So to the letter of the law, yeah, he should have, but it was a soft call, and I do think that they only got the retaliation because that other guy should have been flagged as well. It should have been offsetting, but I do... In my brain, if I were trying to look at this non-bias and just, not from just the Rams fan perspective, I would flag them both, eject Puka. That's just me. Although, if it was bias, no, I didn't see it. Let's see here. What's more likely, Ramsey picking Stafford off or Cup burning Ramsey on a touchdown? I think those are pretty even. I'll be completely honest with you, man. I think that I think it both happen. I'll be honest, man. I think that those are two things that happen. And after 9 weeks, what rookie has impressed you the most and why? Jared Verse, because that guy is a cold-blooded killer, man. That guy is absolutely insane, dude. Absolutely insane. I'm going to take a quick second here. I'm not going to do another break. I just need to swap out batteries here on my cam. It's not even going to, look, it's like this. Boom. See, we're already back. You didn't even notice, man. You had no idea. All right. Next up here, we're going to go to Rams' house. We're going to bounce around here a little bit because these last two are a pretty similar subjects, so I'll keep those packaged together. What would it be like sharing a room with V8? Dude, probably terrible. That guy would just be talking trash about everything you do. like, oh, you hang up your shirts that way, nerd. I'd be like, yeah, stop it, Jared. Gosh, I feel like he'd be rude. But also in cool ways and funny ways. And when you have friends over, you could be like, rip this guy apart. Yes, see, this is my friend Jackson. He's a Packers fan. Make him feel like garbage. Just do it. In light of the trade deadline, what was one trade we made in the McVay era that you just knew would work out from the beginning, and what was one that you were more skeptical about? I was extremely skeptical. I was making up words there. Skeptical about Brandon Cooks. Actually, that was one where I was like, a first for a guy who's just been concussed like crazy. Like, I was a little bit like, kind of like, okay, and then it worked out to a certain extent where he was playing good football for the Rams for a good chunk of time there and getting those archers and stuff in there, man. I was sick, and I ended up liking Brandon Cooks, but that was one where I thought a first was too much. I still think a first was too much. I think we pulled off a 4. So it's like, yeah, that was a tough one, man. But that was one I was skeptical from the start. And one that the easiest one for me, man, to say that like I thought that was going to work out was Von Miller. Von Miller coming to the Rams 2018 or 2021 season, man. I was like, okay, yeah, that's perfect. It was like, yeah, he's hurt. It was like, yeah, but he's Von Miller. And he's not Von Miller today, where he's a little bit like, sometimes he can get lost in a game or something like that. That's not the case. So it's absolutely awesome, man. I love Von Miller. Again, Texas A&M fan. I'm from Colorado, so I watched him at A&M, and then he came to my home state, where he became a fan favorite immediately. The number of 58 jerseys you still see around here in Colorado, Rams house, this. It's everywhere, man. So he's still very loved in this state. He's still very loved by Texas A&M and their fans, me included. He rocked the 40, which he wore at Texas A&M for the Rams, which was originally a retired number with Hirsch. So him being able to wear that, wearing a number that we never felt like we would see again, and then to win a Super Bowl with the Rams, I felt good about that one right away. Let's see here. So excited to see my favorite former Rams player come back to SoFi on Monday Night Football. That is right, Jalen Ramsey, Rams house, big Jalen guy. In saying that, what do you think the matchup of him versus Puka and Cooper will be like? What was your favorite Jalen Ramsey memory? Ooh, those are good, dude. Jalen Ramsey memory is a tough one. What do I think that matchup will be like? I think that they're all superstars. When you have superstars versus superstars, each side's going to win some. Jalen's going to win some. Jalen's going to break up some passes. But Cooper and Puka, they're going to shake them here and there. They're going to pick up first downs on them. Like, that's just, I feel very confident it's going to go both ways. We just need to be able to win more. And the good news is they can't clone Jalen Ramsey. There's only one of him out there, so go to the other guy. Don't test him all day. We know what happens when you just continue to test him. He's liable to get you, man. So, yeah, I think it'll be a really fun matchup to watch. And I still root for Jalen. Jalen's awesome. I mean, I hope he gets crushed this week. But Jalen is, I liked Jalen at FSU. You know what I mean? Like, and then he goes to Jacksonville, watched him there. Pulls up in the Brinks truck. I did a story about that on in school when I was doing, like, we had to pick a story and all that. I did Jalen Ramsey in the Brinks truck as a story throughout college. And then, yeah, man, it's just, Jalen's a cool guy, man. Fun guy. Hell of a player. Yeah, I've got nothing really bad to say about Jalen Ramsey. What was my favorite Jalen Ramsey memory? Man, that's tough. There's some good ones in there, though. Some really interesting picks that he had one, I want to say, was against the Bucks, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was the Cardinals. In my brain, it's a red team where he jumped over the receiver in the end zone to pick off the ball, and the game ended. Like, that was it. Like, that we needed to turn over down the game, and he like jumped over somebody. It was the craziest play, man. Maybe that one. Him absolutely blowing up Golden Tate. I'll always hold that play close to my heart because I don't like Golden Tate, man. I think that guy's kind of a jerkbag. So to see Ramsey light up that blocker and then just absolutely destroy Golden Tate's soul, loved that, dude. I was like, I'm at the bar like, whoa! Just so fired up from that, dude. That's so exciting, man. So love to see that, man. But that's a good one too, man. He's had some aggression moments that I absolutely really, really liked. This one here coming from Payo Time. He says, pick 4 Rams players you would trust to be president. 1 current, 1 from the McVay era, not on the team, 1 from the 2009 Rams, and a legend of your own choosing. Ooh, all right. So, yes, we obviously had a big old election happen this week in America. I love also that the Canadian is asking me this question. I love to see that. But pick 4 Rams players you trust to be president. 1 current, give me Stafford, dude. Give me Matthew Stafford. That guy is a leader. That guy, I'll follow that dude anywhere, man. Like, that's the only person that could have been elected where to have me celebrating with tweets and stuff. Otherwise, I don't care. But yeah, Stafford for sure. 1 from the McVay era who is not on the team. Let me go with Robert Woods, Bobby Trees for this one, man. Just a level-headed dude, man. Just level-headed, hard worker. I mean, there is nothing negative to say about Robert Woods. What a great player. What a great guy. I mean, I think everywhere he's been to, everybody kind of accepts that that's such a good quality human being. And yeah, man, Bobby Trees, man, he's a fan favorite, man. I think a lot of fans still really, really pull for him and root for him and stuff. He's just a cool guy, man. Great dude. Yeah, there's nothing negative to say about him. 1 from the 2009 Rams. Dude, Keith Null. Any chance I get to talk about Keith Null? Oh, that's so funny, man. Obviously, just give me SJ, dude. The absolute workhorse, man. I mean, yeah, just give me SJ. And a legend of my choosing. Is it appropriate to make the Secretary of Defense president also? I don't care. I'm doing it anywhere. Give me Deacon Jones, man. Put him up there, man. Make him president. Absolutely awesome. First lady being Elizabeth Jones. Dude, that's top tier, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's 1,000% picking Secretary of Defense for president, which is the funniest tweet that I can possibly think of. I voted for my cat, which is, I didn't do that. But either way, heading back over to Facebook. Let me get these ones here. Maybe there's more in. Nope, there is not. So this one coming from Nick. Nick, welcome back into Fan Cases, man. Nick's here like once every 3 weeks on Fan Cases, which I do appreciate, man. Let's see here. So it says, if Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford ran against each other in the U.S. presidential election, who would you vote for? That's a tough one, man, because I literally just said Stafford for my current pick. But if it's Stafford against McVay, I think that McVay, his speeches and his debates would just own so many people, man. I feel like if you put Sean in a political setting, which also, I'm not going to get political here at all because I just despise politics. And I think both sides are stupid. So I think you're all dumb. But I think that it's really funny to me how much politics are the new sports. The way I saw people celebrating, the way I saw people like being upset, and I'm not here to talk trash about anybody. It was a little bit funny to me because there was like people who 2018, 2021, I see myself in both sides right now. I see one side where it's like, oh, that was me in 2018 after the Rams lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Just like, oh man, what's next? Like, and then you got the 2021 guys who I was one of them also, who are also now just sports fans. You're not going to convince me that political people are not just sports fans now. But of that side of it, of being like, well, like, let's go, unstoppable, we are back. Like, so I see it on both sides, but it's just hilarious to me that politics are sports now, and that's super funny to me. I'll never get over it. And also that one guy who was making fun of me for having my license plate say LA Rams, and I have a Rams thing on my back window, and then obviously I rock stuff a lot. He made fun of me for that, and I looked at his truck, and I feel like me saying truck is enough information for you to be. I was like, dude, me? You? So funny, man. But either way, hope whatever you whoever's team you're on, hope you're happy, I guess. I don't know what to say. It's like when somebody's crying and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine. You know, I don't know what to say to that, but either way, that's my political talk. That's it. That's the extent of it, is that I hate all of it. I think it's stupid. Go Rams, man. The only thing I cared about yesterday was the trade deadline. That was it. So, but that is going to do it for me. Make sure you follow along on social media at Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. Also, if you are looking at getting into any kind of coverage for the LA Rams, I am looking to bring in people, whether that is writing about the LA Rams, whether that is creating a segment that could be popped into a Ram Showcase episode, whether that is helping on social media, whatever you got. I'm open to stuff. So, except for full-blown co-host, it's too difficult to coordinate with my schedule and putting this bad boy together. So that is the only thing that's really off the table. But if you feel like you can bring anything to Ram Showcase, I'm definitely interested in talking to you, so reach out to me, please, okay? ramshowcase@gmail.com will be the best way to do that. I don't get a lot of notifications on social media because, let's face it, I hate it. I know I can't. I know I'm not supposed to. I'm the only one here at Ram Showcase. I'm the only employee here. And I don't know what I'm doing, so... I know I'm supposed to, but I also don't like it. So if you are a person that does like it and likes to do that kind of stuff, let's talk, man, because it's not just a one-sided thing here, just helping me. That the help does go both ways, so let me know how I can help you, man. That's going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fan-Sided Network. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching. Go Rams.